Hello. How are you?
Hello. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Good.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I've been a little bit not good. So the word today is coming from that, and the word is anxiety, which I can't believe we haven't talked about before. Here we are.
Yeah, anxiety. hmm Well, I see anxiety as just anxious thinking. So, um, when I talk about it, I have a hard time saying, "Ooh, she has anxiety," and I hear that a lot. I have anxiety. I have anxiety. I've even said it myself before. That, but it's like, okay, what's really going on with this thing we call anxiety? And how I see it is thoughts that are just coming so quickly around one subject. It's like one after the other, after the other, after the other, around something, and maybe pulling other thoughts in, like, oh my gosh, what if, are they looking at me, or is this happening, or what if this happens, or what if that, and then and then this, and then I kind of this image always comes up to me, and I know it's a little bit of reverse, it's a little upside down. But it's like, when you try to get ketchup out of the old style ketchup, usually they're plastic now. I can't remember the last time I've had a glass bottle like that. Or even, anyway, and it gets stuck in the neck. And that's kind of how I see what happens. It's like the anxiety, it's like our body is the bottle, and then we have the neck, and it's like it's all gets jammed in, and we get paralyzed. Or, I mean, it can look different for different people. I've seen people be paralyzed by it, like, I can't move. I've had people call me, I can't move. I'm not, and then and yeah. And I've also seen anxiety where, like, a lot of fidgeting and just can't, there's just all of this, something has to happen with this energy. And really, it's just a calmer mind. In the case of someone calling me and saying, like, they were just frozen in anxiety. And I talked about random things. I talked about random things that had nothing to do with, even, they were at an event, a very loud and noisy event with people all around. And I just asked questions about, oh, do they have this, and do they have that? And it was just like, and it didn't take long for them to come to a place of where they could breathe. And what was happening, it was just that they weren't all caught up in the thinking that wound them up. It was like a creation of this whirling dervish that had them so jammed up, and then just reaching outside of that to different things that had no emotion, no, like practical things, like, oh, do they have that lemonade that we like there? Or did you get some? And, like random things. And the only thing that happened was that the thinking that they had that wound them up was dropped, and their attention was put on something else. So, yeah, that's a starter for anxiety.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had some last night. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I woke up with it this morning, and it's not very familiar to me. It's not something I often experience. I've had the odd period in my life when I've had a lot of anxiety. Online dating, that was not good for me in terms of anxiety. But yeah, I got very stirred up around something this morning, and yeah, I had a proper proper experience of it, which I think it's good for the listeners to hear that this conversation we're having isn't about eliminating those things.
Mm.
But there was like even in it, there was a chink of light where I could see that I was okay and that it would pass. You know, it would pass. It was just that I was stirred up, and I could see the nonsense that was going round and around in my head. It was definitely for me that here's a problem, and here's 75 billion solutions, all of which I have to do today. That's what it was. It was definitely me trying to. And which of those things shall I do first? Which is the right thing? Which is the thing that's going to fix the problem that I think there is, that isn't really a problem, but I think there is one now. And so now, how do I fix it? You know, and then it's all the different ideas, and me thinking then I've got to do them all now, today, you know. And you know, it's been a long day, but it's not been that long. And I can't do them all in one day. And you know, I got to the point where I felt quite sick. You know, my stomach was going, and I felt, but I do carry things in my stomach. If there's anything anywhere something's going to go, it'll go to my stomach. And I got quite shivery. Like the physical side of it was quite pronounced, actually. But like you said, what had it pass was just chatting to Bruce, just talking through some of my ideas, and then really interestingly, I'd had all these ideas, like I've got to do this, and then I've got to do that, and I've got to do this, and these are all the things I've got to try them all, because I don't know which one's going to work, so I've got to get them all done as quickly as possible, and then it'll all be okay. And it was really, once I quietened down and I spoke to Bruce, we chatted a bit about the issue, but then we just chatted about some other things. And then I just went, oh no, I know what I'm going to do when I get up. I'm going to do this little thing, this one little thing. And the thing that I went then do was like tiny in comparison to all the things that I thought I had to do. So I really saw the connection between anxiety and overwhelm, really, because that's where it came from for me. It was very I've got to do all these things, and I've got to do them now, and I need to know which one's the right one to do first, and therefore going round and round in crazy circles. But seeing how it passed as well was really cool, because I don't think when we experience anxiety or anything really, we kind of forget not to go back, but we forget to go, oh yeah, half an hour ago I was a whirling dervish lunatic and I felt terrible, and now I'm okay. And we forget to kind of observe that bit of the journey, don't we? We forget that we get over it. Yeah. Time again. I think I made a podcast episode on my podcast once that was called don't forget that you get over it. Remember you always get over it. It was called Remember You Always Get Over It. You always get over it. Always passes. Every time it passes. Yeah. And that, I think we forget to just pause long enough to see the passing of the anxiety and how we come out the other side of it, and we're all right.
Yeah. True. We miss all the in-between. Our focus is on all the times when we're not feeling right, when we're feeling stress or anxiety or whatever it is. And we miss all the times when we're not, when we're okay. And then it's just like, well, why? Why is it okay? It's curious to look then. What was going on when things were okay? Like, well, I wasn't thinking all this stuff. I had a bout of it last night, actually. And I did all kinds of things to kind of squirrel away from it, to avoid it, because the thinking was I'm doing a thing, and I was doing something this morning. I was doing an energy healing session in a group, an insight timer, and I've done it before. but I'm doing a series. So it's like I had all this thinking about how I need to make this all go. I'm noticing the types of things that cause me to have. No, let me change that. It's the thoughts that are causing me to have the anxious feelings. And I'm getting to know the situations in my life when they're apt to happen. And often for me, it happens when I'm trying to organize something for someone else to take in, like creating an audio course or I'm doing a 5-day challenge. And it's just like and it's like, I know it. And here's the thing. I really would love my inner wisdom to speak to me when I set it all up. So everything is all tickety-boo, but I can only take it to a certain point, and then the rest happens the morning of. It's happened over and over, and it's just like, come on. So when you say that you know what you need to know when you need to know it, yeah. And up until then, you know enough. You know enough to bring you to this moment. And then you'll know what you need to know in that moment too. Anyways, I'm just finding that it's interesting to me because I felt that familiar, oh my gosh, here we go again. It's just like, why am I still doing this? What is wrong? What is going on? It's like, oh, and then just catching the dots. It's like, oh, whenever I do this thing, well, what do I think about that? So after our talk today, I might spend some time later today and sort of think about that. It's like, what is it about putting those things together? And I can see it's about not being enough, wanting to deliver well, making sure they get all they need from it. And it's like, I can't control that. I can't control that. So it's interesting to see the patterns that kind of bring us there. And in the end, it's just like, yep, I knew that I was making it all up. That's why I watched, some Netflix last night, and because it's like, stop, get out of this. Don't even think, it's funny. No, it wasn't funny. It wasn't funny. But it was amusing. It was amusing after. It's like, oh my gosh, because I knew what was happening. And yeah, there was times it's like, I know that I need to just go do something else right now because it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Wisdoms. Actually, and that comes to this, I'm really just seeing how knowing yourself allows you to trust yourself more. That instead of running away, because for so many years I ran away from all these things that I thought were wrong with me, instead of like really seeing what it is. And then when I came across the 3 principles, it's like, oh my gosh, that answered so much for me. So really getting to know myself, even now in that thing that happened last night, and catching that, you know what, whenever I am doing these kinds of things, this is when it comes up. So it's just like, let's look at that. Let's look at that. Not really look at it, just know that why, what's coming up. And it's all just silly thinking about wanting to make sure that, it's done so well. So crazy.
Interesting that you point to control there, because I think that it was the same thing for me. It was control. It was I want to control the outcome of this thing I'm going to create, whatever it is. All these, obviously the 6 billion things I was going to create today, because I was so busy. Like it was the thing about wanting to do the right one, like you're saying about wanting to do the thing right. so that you then create the right outcome for whoever's accessing the thing. Very similar to what I was doing. I wanted to create that, take the right next step in my business, really, so that I could create the right outcome, which is the money, or the, you know, the impact and the income from that, and say which of these many myriad of ideas I had is going to be the right one. So it was like that whack-a-mole game. It's like, which one do I need to keep down? You know, it's like, but it's all about, I think anxiety does beget control, doesn't it? It really, because when you're in that place of fear, there's just something quite instinctive about trying to get rid of that fearful feeling by trying to control something outside. But of course, it isn't coming from the outside world. So we get caught in a loop because we're trying to control the outside world to get rid of the anxiety. Well, the anxiety never came from the outside world. So that's fundamentally a complete waste of time. And you know, I've been on the receiving end of that as well, which can be, you know, in terms of another person who's trying to control me and my fiance Bruce, because they think that they must think that their feelings are coming from us, because the way in which they were trying to control us was not very pleasant, to say the least. And you know, but then seeing how that's absolutely what I was, it sounds like what you were doing, what I was doing was trying to get the right answer so that then I could feel okay. Because I mean, thing. And interestingly, like I say, the actual thing I ended up starting with this morning when I sat at my desk was none of those things that were on the whack-a-mole game. None of them. Didn't do any of them. None of them whatsoever. And it's something completely different. It just and the completely different thing just came as soon as I quietened down. As soon as I started trying to control. But the other thing as well for me was, like you were talking before about trying to chase away the feeling or doing things to get rid of the feeling. For me, that the kind of edge of things now is to just be with it. And intermittently this morning, I could just lie there and just feel it. It wasn't particularly pleasant, but a few times when I've had it more mildly, I have been able to just kind of watch it and watch it disperse. Which again goes back to this, remembering that it does disperse on its own, really, if we just actually leave it alone. It does disperse on its own. And a few times recently, I've had a little bit of it, and I've been able to just kind of just like literally just watch it in my body almost, you know, observe it and see how short a time, when you don't do anything, it lasts like 30 to 90 seconds, really. Like it doesn't last, it just fizzles out. It kind of loses its, you know, it just goes, just disappears. But we hold it in place, don't we, with all the things we're trying to, because we're trying to work out how to get rid of it when we're in that misunderstanding of it coming from the outside, when in actual fact it's got the life expectancy of a few breaths. It's not really.
Yeah.
Last that long, really.
No, it doesn't. If you have the wherewithal at the time, because I've done both. And last night was a time where I did not want to sit with that. No. And I was also very aware that my daughter was home. She was away for a few days and she was home. I know that when we were talking, I had no thought of that. I know when Rob came home from work and we were talking, I had no thought of that. So it's like all the evidence is there. All the evidence is there to show us that, yeah, as long as you keep thinking about it and stirring it up and you will experience it. And what happens when you just observe? You're actually, like, when you take, when you are just observing, you're no longer thinking about the thing. You're observing. So again, it's all about taking your attention away from it. just allowing it. So going to something benign like the breath, or where is it? Where is it showing up in my body? And putting your attention there. As soon as you ask yourself another question, where is it in my body? Immediately your attention is off. So even if you can still locate it, yeah, it's in my stomach or whatever, it's like already it's dissipating as your attention goes to your stomach. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that, because that to me is like you're back in the present moment as the observer of the feeling, aren't you? And therefore you're just there observing what is. And that's, everything that kind of Byron Katie says about acceptance is, loving what is. And if you can just be with it and observe it, you're automatically in the present moment, aren't you? Because you're now kind of almost stepped back, observing the thing as it does its thing, the energy moving around your body and whatever it's doing. And like you say, you're then having the thoughts of, oh, that's interesting, it feels like this or it's like that. And then you're not thinking about the thing that you were thinking about in the future, invariably. And then you smack bang in the present, which is where we're just a lot better, aren't we? In the present moment or anywhere else. And we forget all the time. I think all of us do. And I hope the listeners find it helpful actually to hear us both talking about our experiences of this, and that we're not, none of us we're not here to say, you're going to become superhuman by listening to us and you're never going to experience a feeling again, because you're just not. It's part of the human experience. And I think that's key as well, is to see that we all experience anxiety sometimes, but it doesn't mean that we are anxious or that we have anxiety. It's just something that passes through every human being. So I hope people have found that.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great reminder for me too.
Yeah. Conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Claire. Yeah.
See you next time.
Yeah. We'll see you next time.
Take care. Bye.
Ciao.